Buddy, I'm Elwirfy, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that not a lot of people tend to talk about because it's something that ultimately I don't think people want to talk about. I don't think anyone really wants to acknowledge it or really even say what it's say the truth. Your personality matters, and not in a sense of, oh, you know, hey, I'm making a thing and isn't it great how I'm so bubbly or your personality is important on YouTube because it allows you to show your audience who you are at the core. It lets you be yourself. If you try and change your personality on a video, like I've never done my best job with presenting myself in a way that looks like I'm much bigger of a personality than I am. I'm pretty reserved for the most part in terms of when I go to make a video, when I think about my editing, when I think about my choices of what I want to make a video about, I take a lot of time and I'm pretty thoughtful about it. And I wanted to make videos that reflect my thoughtfulness and reflect my ability to go ahead and talk about things that are important to me and that might be important to you guys. And I wanted to make sure that you guys understood what kind of a person I was by making sure that I don't write scripts for myself, that I don't try and set up fake events or try and like manufacture anything in any way. I do, all I am, right? Let's be real. I'm just sitting here in a room with a fun background pulled up, talking about whatever. And today we're talking about personality because I think people have tended to notice, or I've noticed at least, that people seem to be presenting themselves in a way that seems bigger than they are, right? Because you look at people who are like super rich and stuff, and people want to show off all their riches or like, oh, all their great experiences. But the truth of the matter is that if you end up putting yourself in an environment where everybody you're watching, everybody who you're interacting with is seemingly living lives better than they actually might be portraying them as, it really warps your view of the world and how you want to ascribe value to your own actions. That's why I like telling these stories about my life where I'm talking about how I grew up with not a lot of money for myself, as a kid wanting to make YouTube videos. I didn't have the gear. My audio was terrible. My videos were terrible. They looked bad. And I think that's something everyone could kind of understand, but I'm sure people don't understand. It's really a shame. And I think that there's something to be said about wanting to go out of your way to try and make yourself seem more than you are, because we all want to be better. I'm not saying we don't. Like, we all want to do better. We all want to make sure that whatever we put out there is our absolute best. And you know what? It probably isn't. Okay. Just to be frank, like this video, it's probably not the best video I've made. I hope it's not the worst video I've made. But it is a video talking about why it matters if what you make or you don't make is reflecting yourself. I always, this is why I guess maybe this video is more about script writing than your personality, but maybe they're just kind of entwined and they go hand in hand because, I mean, look at the map. This map is showing all the parts of the world in 1 year. I don't know which year it was, but in a year of some sort of YouTube's coverage of where YouTube is accessible, the one that we see in the United States anyway. And that's a lot of people when you think about it. That's a lot of voices, that's a lot of opinions, that's a lot of ideas. And everybody has the right to say whatever the heck they want. It's just unfortunate that I'm sure, as many of us have noticed, there's a lot of people who will make a video and then when they talk, it doesn't really feel like it's themselves. It's kind of like you're being talked to by a robot that's using a human as like a spoon to feed you information with. And people have different styles. Some people are like this, where they're just talking into the mic, laid back, not much to it. But then there's other people who will make a video and they'll see it and, I don't know. It doesn't feel like all the videos that are made for the viewer. Because I think it comes back to the fact that people are forgetting that viewers are people, and that when you make videos that present yourself under a certain light, and then how like scandals come out, how like people are like, oh, this person lied or this person said one thing but did another thing. Well, as long as you're, I don't know, just being upfront with everything, I don't think there's usually an issue with that. That's why I always get surprised when like something like really big happens and they're like, oh, how could they have done this? And I'm thinking, well, it was probably in their personality, or like we missed something. But when you present this persona of yourself on the internet that isn't matching up to your real life, it's very easy that, you might share something you don't want to share, or you might share too little and people think you're being shady. That's why I always like the idea of just, going out there, being yourself, and just having a good time as yourself forever. um, because look at all these people who have access to YouTube. Look at all the potential people who could relate to your stuff, who could relate to your channel. So that's why if you're a small YouTuber and you're thinking, hey, how do I make sure my audience can relate to me? Just be you. What do you mean? Why would you change your own personality just to get people to like you? Because then they don't like you. Then they like a version of yourself that isn't really you. And remember, it's YouTube. It's not him tube, us tube, they tube. It's you. And it's up to you to decide how you want to present yourself online. I've never tried to change who I am or write a script or do anything to make myself seem other than how I'm talking to you guys now. Sure, maybe if I'm talking with friends, maybe I won't mention certain things, or like I'll behave differently, because that's just how humans generally interact in different social climates. They'll change how they respond or behave based on who they're interacting with in the moment. But I would hope that, like, obviously as I've grown up, my opinions about things change, moments change, what I find fun changes. People change, they grow up, that's normal, and change is not a bad thing. It's really unfortunate when people somehow are presented as inauthentic or not being trustworthy when they want to change their opinion about something. Opinions are so important, and it's natural that people's personalities will change based on new information as they decide what's valuable and not valuable to them, about what they consider to be the truth, based on their own unique and impossible to understand perspective on the events of the rest of their surroundings and existence as a whole. If you make a YouTube channel that has you in it, that is about you, it's not like a faceless one or something, because that's a whole separate thing. But if you make one where you're showing off who you are, and you're coming out of the anonymity of the rest of the world, and you're wanting to present yourself in the best light you can, the best way to do that is to be yourself. And you know what? If your personality sucks, if you sit there and you think to yourself, hey, maybe I don't have a good personality, what do I do? Well, the truth of the matter is that no matter what kind of personality you have, there is an audience for you. You could be someone who beats up puppies. I mean, I wouldn't really want to support anyone who does that, but technically, I guess if you did that, you would be able to find a group of people who also, because look at the map, right? You know what I mean? Look at the map. There's so many people. The odds of nobody relating to you are so infinitesimally small that I would love to see an example of a channel where someone is themselves and puts themselves out there and talks about themselves and tries to help others, or maybe not even help. Maybe they want to selfishly show off what they have, but they're doing it from a realistic standpoint. Like, there's some videos where people will buy expensive things or rent expensive things just to appear to have more wealth than they actually do. People film videos in front of houses that are not their own. There's all kinds of things you can do to try and trick people into thinking you're somehow better, or that your life is somehow more interesting than it is. Most people's lives are pretty boring. Outside of making these videos, I don't do much. I spend time with my family, my wife, and, I go to work, and, we are happy. But what do I really do? I don't fly around the world, I don't go to big conventions. I don't really do much, and that's okay. And I think it should be okay, too, for everyone else, that you should feel okay about not necessarily getting to do everything that everyone else is doing. I would hope that you'd be happy being yourself and watching yourself be the best version of you. I know that sounds redundant and rhetorical, and I know I'm repeating myself a lot and talking over my words. I guess it's because I want to make sure that this really hits home. That if you want to be successful on YouTube, while it is not everything, and obviously as a small channel, you might think I'm not an expert, but I've been on YouTube a long time and I've observed a lot, and I've noticed, I think that your personality is really something that will help you improve the odds of people relating to you, enjoying your content, wanting to interact with you. And ultimately, I think that's the human element, I think, is what's missing in a lot of these newer up-and-coming channels, where it feels like everything's fake, or everything feels kind of not quite right. It's hard to describe. It's a feeling. But I think other people can relate to what I'm talking about. Hopefully you did. And listen, as always, guys, I'm Elwirfy, and I will definitely be seeing you guys next time in the next video. Take care, everyone.